I mean, I didn't do this. My uncle did it, but I feel proud because I went and visited him March and April. He was 331 last June.
331.
He's 273 this week. He lost 15 pounds within the year, and then in the last 7 weeks, he lost 45 pounds.
Doing the carnivore diet?
Doing the carnivore diet.
In life, bro, life's tough, bro. Life's hard, especially for a man. I mean, obviously, everybody's life's hard. Women's lives are hard. But as a man, I'm going to speak personally from my experience. It's like, bro, first off, we have like all this pressure on us to maybe, you know, if you have a woman, if you have a family, to be a provider. And then not only that, you need to do everything, and then you can't even complain about shit. Not that complaining is the number one thing, but you want people to understand you. Like at the end of the day, a human connection, like me sitting here talking to you, you're going to sit and talk to somebody a lot longer, and you're going to have more of a satisfying reaction if they understand you. You know what I mean? That's what people are yearning for at our basic level as human beings, is understanding. And so it's like when I know that that's like a symptom of my depression, was that I felt like nobody understood me. Hey, what's up? It's DG. Got my boy Fredo here.
Hey, man. Welcome back.
Passionate Prophets, welcome back. I know we've took a brief hiatus. We've had a lot of different things going on in both me and Fredo's life, some of them together, some of them separate. But yeah, we're happy to be back. We're going to dive all into it, and we're happy to have you guys here.
Just like he said, we're back. We're happy. Yeah, apologies for the delay, but we'll talk a little bit about it. So
smile or something. All right. So, I mean, shit, first things first, I mean, you're looking pretty good, Fredo. Is there anything you've been doing differently, maybe with your diet or working out or something? I mean, you're looking pretty fit.
Oh, is that big dog? Well, first off, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt. I gotta give credit where credit's due.
Amen. Yeah, no, I've been, and I've talked to you a little bit about it. We did keto carnivore diet a little bit.
Yeah. You got me on it a little bit. And honestly, obviously, you know, we talk off camera all the time, but I wanted to ask you about it because, you know, our people don't know. So it's like, what exactly goes into the keto carnivore diet? Yeah,
I started since March, and then from like March 20th to May 1st, I went from 218 to 194.
218?
Yeah, to 194.
Dang, you're a big boy.
Yeah, and that wasn't even at my heaviest.
To what now? 194?
194. Damn. Well, this week I hit 193.
Wow.
So then from May,
congrats, bro.
So then from May 1st up until, I don't even know what the date is today, June something, 14th, I kind of maintained in between like 205 and 194 because I went to Miami, and then I did a camping trip, which you went, so we can talk a little bit about that. But went camping, and then just a few other things. So I just stayed in between there, and like I would only break or not eat carnivore diet when I was camping or when I was doing like other things for like those weekends. But basically I didn't cheat.
But other than that, it was just all meat.
Yeah. And for like breakfast, it was just like 3 eggs, ground beef. And then
that's what I was going to ask too. What type of meats were you eating?
So beef? a lot of red meat. So in the beginning, like the first week or 2 weeks, I did some chicken, but then I don't really like chicken. And
it has the most protein though, I guess. It has more than...
Oh, really?
Yeah, than beef.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't know that.
Fish too, actually.
Well, so I did a lot. I've done now a lot of red meat and fish.
Okay.
So salmon, tuna, and shrimp.
Oof, I hate salmon.
Oof, I love it. And then red meat, and turkey, and ground turkey. But yeah, just steak for lunch, steak for dinner, eggs, and meat.
Damn.
And then I'll know when I'm gonna cheat, and what I mean by that is like
you basically plan
when
it
I
out.
know I'm going to Miami.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna mess up that weekend. As soon as I get back, I'm back on it.
Miami
and
diet.
now I'm actually like this week on Sunday I had sushi Sunday night, and I was just like, you know what, I'm having sushi. I don't care. I'm having sushi, and
it's gross.
Still lost weight all week. Didn't go up.
Everything in moderation.
I literally just went down. So now my body's just, and you actually told me this. I think on the last pod, you're like, bro, you can mess up. Your body's not going to leave ketosis. Like you've been in it long enough. And
like it's not like a light switch.
And I was like, I don't know about that, but I was like, well, it has to be sustainable some way. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it a shot. And no, you're right. And then my other biggest,
because your body's so used to burning the protein as fuel, and once you
the fat, it's actually fat.
And then as you introduce the carbs, it's like your body doesn't like
It,
switch back
yeah, it
over
doesn't
immediately.
understand what you're.
It burns a little bit of it, but it's more mainly focused on the fat because
Yeah,
that's
it
where
didn't
those
really.
stored
It doesn't
carbs
really
are.
register what it just
Yeah, as long
received.
as you just don't keep like
Exactly.
going crazy with the
Exactly.
injection of
Yeah.
carbs, it's you can go right back to your fucking keto
And
diet.
one of my, I mean, I didn't do this. My uncle did it, but I feel proud because I went and visited him March and April, and homie was 331 last June. He's 272 this week, and
Three what?
he was 331 last June.
331.
He's 273 this week. He lost 15 pounds within the year, and then in the last 7 weeks he lost 45 pounds
Doing the carnivore
doing the
diet.
carnivore diet.
Damn.
So 45 pounds, he's 273. His goal right now is 250, and he's just been grinding it.
How tall is he? I mean,
Like 5'8".
5'8".
Yeah, he's
Damn. So
yeah,
three
he's
something. That's
yeah,
that's a lot for
no,
someone
he was a
that's
big
5'8".
boy. Yeah, he's
250 still a lot, but that's obviously a far cry from 313.
yeah from 315.
Oh, 315.
Yeah. So
Excuse me on the 2 pounds.
yeah, and now yeah, so you asked like some of the benefits. I mean,
Other than losing weight, obviously, have you noticed any other like positive gains or like things that just differences? I guess they don't need to necessarily be positive, but just differences in
the
general.
first one is like confidence. And I didn't really think so because like I've never
That's
lacked
interesting.
self-confidence in the sense of like at the end of the day, like I was big, but I didn't feel like damn, like oh my God. Like I was disgusting, but I wasn't that disgusting to where I
Yeah.
was like if my shirt came off or I had to take it off, I'd be like, oh, let me hide. But I was just like, I guess I'd prefer not to take it off.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. Now I'm just like, I mean, I'm still like, I don't got no six pack, but like you lose 25 pounds, so
Seeing
you know
some
you
shit
feel
that you
good.
didn't see
So
before.
yeah,
At least you
exactly,
can see you got the muscle group there.
exactly. So immediately like self confidence for sure. Just like, damn, like I feel good again. Like it's
Yeah.
been. I got out of the Marine Corps in 2021 in July, so we're about to be in July 24. So 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I was 180, and then by like December, January, I'd gained 50 pounds.
Damn.
So it'd been a minute
How
since
many months is that?
it was like 6, 7 months.
7
I was
months.
total terror, menace to society,
Yeah, you went on a run.
and not the good one. But so it's been years since I was like felt like this again. Like once I passed 190, I was like, oh shit. And I thought I was like, oh, I'm good right here. Like I'm not gonna gain any more weight. And then the scale just kept going. And I was like, God damn. But I didn't care. I was so out of it. And we're gonna talk about mental health in a little bit, but yeah, I was just not there. So I just didn't care.
Affecting your
And
mental health
and
in
it
a
just kept
negative
going
way.
up. Yeah. And so I'm finally seeing these numbers again for like
And you
the
got to
first
a
time.
point where you were just like, I'm done
Yeah, after Austin.
after Austin.
After Austin, I think I finally, I don't know what it was. I had so much fun in Austin. It was a boys only trip.
That's lit.
Thanks
for the invite, by the way.
You're welcome. It was an amazing time. But I got home and like, I must have slept 8 hours in 3 days or 4 days. Like I just came back and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I was like, the launch is coming up. I've been doing this too long. Like we got to get right. Cause like at the end of the day, there's people relying on me. People invested in me also, not only with money, but with also time and work. So it's like, I can't just throw that away that they're giving me. So I was like, all right, it's time to like, we got to switch like
Lock
right
in.
now. Like
Lock
it,
in.
we already, we're flirting with the line of like, when's the right time? And it was the right time. So the first thing, self-confidence. Second thing is energy. I definitely feel energetic.
You have more energy than you did before.
Yeah, and it's hard to fully say that because I always did have energy. The one place you notice it the most is like, let's say you go to dinner or we go to a steakhouse right now. We're gonna order our steaks, and then we're also gonna order some mashed potatoes
Macaroni
or
and
some
cheese.
sides, right?
Broccoli.
And then after those dinners, everyone's what like, oh shit, I go sleep.
I feel
I'm
full,
cool.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
cool.
tired.
Yeah,
You
like
crash,
let's
yeah.
go. Yeah, let's go crash. Let's go lay down
crash.
or whatever. Well, on keto, you don't really get that full feeling. Like you don't, and I say keto, I really am actually doing more carnivore, guys, but it's not fully carnivore because I'll have avocado,
Yeah.
I'll have salads when I can, and then
But it's the same. It's like it's the same theme. It brings your body into a state of ketosis.
So, yeah, exactly. But I stick as strong as I can to just meat.
Yeah.
And salsa. Yeah.
Salsa.
Salsa, avocado, and meat. That's pretty much what I do.
All right.
Um,
Shout out salsa.
Yeah. And So yeah, I kind of just try and stay on that good line of like never getting full. I eat my 3 meals a day. Some people
So you
intermittent.
don't overeat is basically what you're trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, and it's hard to overeat. Think about it. Like if I have a 10-ounce steak, like okay, I want more. What steak? It's like you kind of get like you kind of just get like I'm good. Like
Yeah,
I
facts.
don't need to eat more steak. Um, so it's hard to be like I want more meat. That
I
sounds,
guess so.
you know what I'm saying? But
Whoa.
but
All right. Yeah, I get
so
it though.
yeah, so energy, self confidence, and then a little bit of like mental clarity. I think it goes back to the energy. You never feel like completely groggy.
That's what I was gonna ask you too.
Mhm.
When I brought up the question like what positive benefits have you had, I
Yeah.
noticed that like other people that I've heard talk like Dana White and some other people that I'm blanking on right now, that was like the number one thing that they really talked about a lot was mental clarity. And just being somebody that's gone through it myself and been like, feeling super clouded, like super foggy brained when that's not how I operate at all usually. And I felt the same thing, like very, very sharp
Yeah.
mental clarity, like almost where it's like, when I'm talking, I'm not like reaching for words or trying to think. It's more or less like it's just happening, like a conscious flow of thought instead of like me like having to really like be like trying to like think, okay, well, what was that word? Now I'm trying to think. And it just like kind of fucks up a whole like
Yeah.
conversation, really, if you think about it. If like you're sitting there stuck and you can't think of the word that you wanted to say, it's like that's something that I really fucking like hated. And I really like found that with that diet, it was like, whoa, okay, not overeating, no greasy fucking fried shit, and
Yeah.
just like you said, no like fatty like starchy sides like potatoes.
Yeah. So you're taking away carbs and sugars, and sugars are actually carbs.
Yeah,
And
that's what carbs get broken down to in
exactly.
the
And
bloodstream.
what happens when you do a 3-day fast?
Yeah,
Insulin resistance. So a lot of people can't process because they mess with their insulin levels all the time. So they can't process and break down foods. But you take away that factor when you don't eat carbs.
yeah,
So you're just running on fat and protein.
yeah,
Um,
because it's gonna take the stored carbs which
well, no,
become
there will be
fat.
no more carbs.
Yeah, but I'm saying your stored like when you eat too many carbs and your body can burn, that's when they store them, and they store them as fat around your
Exactly.
body, and that's when I said stored carbs, that's what I was referring to.
Exactly.
That's like basically the whole science behind it.
Yeah, and I mean, well, probably not all of it, but
No, but just
the
that
yeah,
part of it.
for our viewers, that's what it comes down to. I mean,
Don't
I
quote
think
us.
I honestly I'm such a firm believer right now. I'll never leave this diet, and I'll float in between of like what feels good.
Yeah.
The one thing about keto is like, so I took it super serious for the first 4 weeks. I did not cheat and I did not drink alcohol. I was like, just go dumb on it. And then now I'm trying to learn about like a sustained healthy way of living. And so and that includes drinking and
Hmm.
just everyday life. So, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sundays too, like is try to stick on keto, try not to drink. But when you have things, you have to break it because you can't I'm not gonna be happy if I live forever with just like a carnivore guy. Never have
Yeah.
a drink and never have some
Everything in
carbs.
moderation. Everything in
But we have to
moderation.
be careful when we say moderation because your moderation might not be my moderation, and if we look around, there's everyone's moderation is pretty
Well, yeah,
misconstrued.
everybody's different for sure. People's
Um,
bodies break things down differently in their
yeah,
system, and that's where it's like kind of important to know your body too. Be
yeah,
aware of what like how your body works.
yeah,
What does it break down? Does your body like is the, specific fuel that it's going to make your body run the best? What is it? You know what I
yeah,
mean? Some people, so for a lot of other, but most people, it's carbs because it's just filled with everything that we eat. So that's what most people run off. But there are like certain tests that you can get like on the at-home kits where it'll tell you like it's a metabolic test, and it'll tell you like your metabolism, like what like how your metabolism works basically.
yeah. I mean,
Your mom gave me the test,
yeah,
bro.
no, and I'm not saying that that's
No, no,
not
I'm not
real
saying it
or
is. I was just
nothing.
saying it's funny that your
I
mom's the one that gave me the test.
I just think like okay, and I brought this up to you like. One, I'm a really big believer. It literally did just change my life. It gave me like hella self confidence. I'm really happy right now with like
Yeah.
my results, and it's hard not to be, especially when my uncle just flipped his life 180. Like, bro, literally went from 315 in 7 weeks to 270.
Like when the results are there, it's hard to deny it.
He's feeling phenomenal. So it's
I
hard
bet.
when I look around. I'm like, okay, guys, it is working. Anyone want to try it? Whatever. But the thing about it is, what I don't or like when people say, how does it work? It's fake or it doesn't. Here's what I say. You go to a steakhouse and we each get our steak. Literally, the example was earlier. We order the mashed potatoes, we order the green beans, we order the bread rolls that come out. The difference between me and you, I'm gonna destroy my steak, and you guys are gonna have the steak and everything else. Well, it doesn't make any sense. You clearly overate. Your caloric intake clearly is past mine at that meal by 500.
Caloric intake, huh?
By 500, maybe 1,000, depending on how many bread rolls you decide to shove down your face. So it's like,
I feel like there's a targeted attack on me.
no, 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 but
Fuck.
no,
I
but
like bread rolls, dog.
No,
My bad.
no,
Fuck.
but it's for real though. Do you
Just
see what I'm
kidding.
saying? Like when
Nah, I
people are
feel
like,
you.
no, it doesn't work or it's fake. It's like, no, it does work. And then they say, oh, did you get full? Yeah, I'm full. We were designed to just eat our meal and not have to order 50 sides. Like you will be okay. You'll survive. I promise. You're gonna wake up tomorrow and you're gonna be just fine.
I hear you.
And that's where I'm at. And again, I'm truly happy with it. And I think that's the big difference that I've seen between like how is it actually working and like how do I dumb it down for people. It's like, okay, just think about when you go to dinner and you order this, or let's just say you order salmon and a salad, but then you eat the fried calamari and the french fries off your brother's plate or something. Like those are just extra calories. Your body doesn't know what to do with them. You probably don't work out either, so
Yeah.
there you go.
I feel you. And then I wanted to go back to the mental clarity side of it because I feel like it's a perfect segue into our next topic about the mental health stuff. But like, can you explain to your best ability, like the difference in your mindset, even though you touched on it a little bit, I want to get like more in depth with it. Like the difference of your mindset when you were like, what you said, you just came back from Austin, you were feeling really bloated, really inflamed all around versus how like that, your mental health was then and your mental space was then and how it is now.
Well, I have to speak a little bit about it to give a background so people actually understand. I mean, I think overall, my mental health is good. Like I don't get depressed really. I don't think I've ever been depressed, and I've seen multiple therapists. But I do have really bad anxiety, and I still have that to this day. I think the mental clarity comes in being I'm very aware right now. Like when
As
I'm
opposed to before you
I'm
weren't.
able to analyze, sit back and like understand and try and dissect and look at perspectives in a conversation. So whether it's me and you talking about business, I'm like, okay, where's he coming from and why is he giving me this? Because sometimes we don't agree on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And
We usually don't agree.
and we usually don't. And I'm like, okay, where is he coming from? And it's helping me like process and think through. And the other part of mental clarity is like my last previous cycle of the way I was living was a lot of like, I'm trying to be healthy, but I cheat every weekend. Meaning I'll do like good on my meal preps during the week. But if it's time to drink on the weekend, we're drinking.
Yeah.
And then it takes Monday, you feel groggy. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, you're good. If you're lucky, Thursday, you don't go out or have a drink or go to dinner. Then Thursday's good. And then by Friday, you might start drinking again. So it's just all around like the pattern in which you're living. So I was able to just like completely just shift with this diet. And then in turn, it gave me just like a lot of clarity. So like for sure with conversations, understanding like situational awareness.
You didn't feel depressed at all when you were like hella fat?
No, I've never had depression that I know of.
Not I know like I guess being depressed, there's like a stigma around it, but just feeling more or less like melancholy, like not as confident, like that can be a symptom of like depression.
Yeah.
Like, different stuff, not where it's like, hey, give me a handgun, I want to blow my brains out type shit,
and
but
we
just
could,
more down.
And I think that's
mean?
a good we'll talk about that after of like, oh, what does depression actually look like?
Yeah.
But
we could talk about it,
yeah.
we could just let this free flow because we've kind of like gone from the diet into the mental health shit now. But either way, keep going what you were talking about. I don't want to cut you off
no, I've never felt any sort of depression of like, damn. I mean, everyone's had their days where they're like, oh,
you're just in a bad mood.
Sucks,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
But I've never.
It's never been a problem for you where you're
but
like.
Anxiety does eat me.
Yeah.
That'll and we could talk about the difference, but like anxiety does eat me. Depression doesn't. And that's been for the longest time. I think I'm very uppity that I won't let depression take me.
Okay, yeah.
Now, if I
So
was,
you're almost hyper aware of it. So whenever you start to feel it, you'll like combat it.
well,
Where
yeah,
however you do that, maybe it's getting up and going for a
yeah,
walk or working out or
yeah,
going hanging out with somebody, whatever it may
exactly,
be.
exactly.
So
That's how
that's
I've
dope.
combated that.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it's important to talk about because everybody goes through it, it's just like a lot of people aren't as aware as you are or I might be or whatever it may be, and it's like they kind of go down that like downward spiral and they don't even know it because they just aren't even aware or think at the level where it's like you have control over it, you know what I mean? Or they don't listen to themselves enough to know when they are starting to feel those type of ways,
yeah,
or maybe they generalize it. Oh, it's just a bad day. Oh, it's just a bad day. It's just a bad
yeah,
day. And I've noticed with me personally, that's where before I wanted to recognize that I was like not feeling the best or not in my best mind state, I used to just be, oh, it's just a bad day. Like that's how I would
yeah.
generalize it for myself because I didn't. Who wants to come out and say I'm depressed? You know what I mean? Nobody does.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, we all live in this thing called life. And in life, bro, life's tough, bro. Life's hard, especially for a man. I mean, obviously, everybody's life's hard. Women's lives are hard. Non-binary people's lives are even more hard because not a lot of people understand them. But as a man, I'm gonna speak personally from my experience. It's like, bro, first off, we have like all this pressure on us to maybe, if you have a woman, if you have a family, to be a provider. And then not only that, you need to do everything. And then you can't even complain about shit. Not that complaining is the number one thing, but you want people to understand you. Like at the end of the day, a human connection, like me sitting here talking to you, you're going to sit and talk to somebody a lot longer and you're going to have more of a satisfying reaction if they understand you. You know what I mean? That's what people are yearning for at our basic level as human beings is understanding. And so it's like when I know that that's like a symptom of my depression was that I felt like nobody understood me. And I'm like, oh, well, what can I do to fix that? Oh, maybe there's things instead of like, remember we were talking about this before the pod off camera where I was like, look inward, look at yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. That's
Yeah,
something that you have to do. And that's what I did. And from there, I was like, okay, you know what? I can't control everybody else and how they react to me and the stuff that they say and how they feel, but I can control my reactions, my behavior, the things that I feel, my self-love, different things like that. So working my way out of depression or being depressed or feeling depressed, those are some of the things that I lean on. And that's obviously how I started, like got off on this tangent a little bit. But yeah, because depression in general can lead to a lot of different things. It's a symptom of a lot of different mental health orders, like mental health disorders. And I feel like, you kind of hit the nail on the head with being like, where I said it, but you kind of made me realize it, is that being aware of yourself and how you feel and knowing the things to do to get yourself out of that rut that you maybe feel stuck in.
yeah. And the one thing, and I'll just take it real quick back to the diet, and we'll be done. Um, it's just it goes back to clarity. Like as soon as you're able to become aware with like what's going on in your life, what you need, where you're lacking, bro, it's like the last few months, my self-awareness and just like comprehension of conversations and where things are at, it is night and day. Like I don't get mad anymore. I don't get frustrated. And when I do, it's all at myself. Cause I know, like, I literally before this, I was talking to Coco on the phone. I was like, we're talking about something. I was like, bro, I am not even mad at that person or that situation. This is on me. This is literally on me. I
That's the best
cannot be
mindset
mad.
you can have.
And if I want a change, it's just got to be me, and that's that.
That's it.
One more thing, burst of energy. I was waking up before my alarms. Gym workouts were amazing. It's just all in all, I'm feeling better, and it's definitely made night and day. But with that being said, back to some mental health. So I just have two
Yeah, go ahead, break
statistics.
it down.
So
Take
mental
off.
health is our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. First off, and to backtrack a little bit about that, like guys, I'm very big on like men's mental health. I said this on the first or second episode. Like, if I ever make it, if I ever have a copious amount of money, for sure,
Copious blood. Where are all these fucking vocab words
for
coming
sure,
from? Fool's fucking got a dictionary in his
for
back
sure,
pocket.
I'm going men's mental health charity. Like that's my number one.
Yeah.
I'm from the military. I've seen it. I've seen people lose their lives. I've seen it affect me.
And isn't there a high rate of suicide in the military as
There,
well?
yeah, there's that. So it's
Amongst
just
men, obviously.
I've just seen it affect my life. I've seen it affect a lot of people's life. It's something I literally care about. And yeah, it's a
means a
deep
lot to you.
passion of mine. Nearly 1 in 10 men experience some form of depression or anxiety, but less than half seek treatment. 40 in 2021, we had 48,183 deaths by suicide.
How many?
48,000,
Fuck.
basic 48,200 basically, with 38,350 being males. So 38,350 being males.
God damn. You see what I'm saying
So-
though? It's hard to be a man out here for real.
Yeah. So then, so I have a question for you. So you talked about gender roles. Do you think it's still prevalent in today's society, or do you think we've gotten better? Do you think that gender roles still come into play or affect that much in today's society that it affects people's mental health?
Oh yeah, of course. Especially as a man, because that's kind of like what I was breaking
So,
down.
but you do come from a family where it's like your dad's like, he's a dog, like old school, very hard. And I'm not saying that there aren't families like that.
No.
I'm just one, like, and I'll speak from the other side a little bit. Like, in a way, I absolutely know, like, I don't even think society's really put this on me, because at the end of the day, I really don't care. Like, I am very unapologetically myself, and I don't care anymore. Like, I don't care about people's perception of me. It doesn't really bother me, because I know that.
That's honestly why I fuck with you. One of the main reasons why I really like you is because I get that. I feel that.
And look, like, all the, like, when people like get to hang out with me, like, I literally don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if we're all laughing.
And that's how everybody wants to really be. You know what I mean? Who wouldn't love to just be their
like,
unadulterated self?
Exactly. And it's like, I'm very, and that's where, like you said, like, the confidence was a little bit like, damn, like, I'll take off my shirt. I'm not too happy with my body, but I'll do it. Like,
but like, no,
I've
but
never,
you motivate me to be more like just myself and not care.
But
honestly.
I've never like lacked self-confidence, because at the end of the day, I know what I'm doing. Like,
I do.
Ever since
I lack self-confidence.
And that's, how do I say this?
But I was going to go.
That's unfortunate. And we could talk about that, and we can, I guess you could give me your perspective on why and how. And the reason I don't, and I'm actually blessed, and I'm grateful that I don't, because, and the only reason I don't is I just feel like, and you do a lot of things too, but I just feel like everything I do is literally, I move with good intention. I've done a lot of crazy, not good stuff. And, definitely I flirt on the line of like, damn, bro, I don't know about that one, but it's like, I had good intention. The outcome was the outcome, but I had a good intention, and I just followed what my heart wanted to do. Like, I can't change the way I felt. Like, I still had a good intention.
Yeah.
And that's with everything, like the military stuff, and then after, like, I've always just been like moving and like progression, and like always just trying to
have
elevate.
confidence in who you are as a person.
Exactly.
You know yourself, so that's what kind of brings that on. For me,
Exactly.
it's like I don't have necessarily that problem because I know who I am, but it's like the reason why I lack self-confidence is because my standard is so high. My standard's up here with everything. I want to be the best, number one, no matter anything I do. I have a little bit of unrealistic expectations, and that's something that I had to learn to deal with in myself, because nobody's the best at everything. But if you ask me, that's what I want to be. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a lot of people that need that, but it's almost like an obsessive thing with me, where it's like, if I'm not, like, there's a problem. You know what I mean? And it causes me, like, it's caused me difficulties throughout my life mentally, because, like I said, nobody's the best at everything. And going back to what you said about, like, oh, I come from a hard family, and it's all that shit, all that stuff being like, oh, I'm a man, I don't give a fuck about this. And then, having a really dark sense of humor and joking about the things that we may joke about. It's like, for me, at least in my family, it's a defense mechanism. It's a defense it's a defense mechanism for real, because we want to project this hard exterior, but really inside it's because we're so sensitive.
That boy's a teddy bear.
You know what I mean?
No,
exactly.
no,
it
it's
is.
true.
And it's like,
And they say that. They
but
say
once I made that realization, that's when I was really able to accept myself. Remember when I said before, looking in the mirror and being honest with yourself.
And you've honestly, guys, I've known Danny for years.
Yeah.
And he's changed. I remember, like, in the beginning, I was just like, oh shit,
I was
that
pretty
guy?
ignorant.
Really?
Yeah,
We got to deal with him at the dinner?
Yeah.
But no, like, me and Dad, like, that's legit. Like, my brother now, I literally can't even tell you guys what he's done for me. I mean, my injuries alone, he like took weeks off of work just to sit next to me, guys. So like,
I appreciate the flowers,
but it's night and day.
Yeah.
It's like night and day, and that's.
And your sister helped me with a lot of that, bro, whether you believe it or not. But either way, going back to like my family and the way that we come off, we project what we want. You know what I mean? So we're projecting a hard exterior because that's what we want. Because we're just so sensitive.
Yeah.
And then eventually, it's like, if you're good enough at it, other people believe it. Oh yeah, like when I brought it up, oh well, you come from a heart family, he's a dog, da, da, da. But all that shit comes from because we're so fucking
Yeah.
like one thing could fuck up the whole entire day for like me, my family, like my dad. Those are like some type of like behavioral patterns that I've noticed, that I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I don't want to be like that. I want to be able to take stuff in stride. And it's like, you know, if somebody handed you $10,000 but crumpled up 100, threw it on the ground and spit on it, you gonna throw the other 9,999 away? No. So why am I? Because 1 second of my day went wrong, which is usually it's just a moment. I'm gonna throw the other 23, 24 hours out the window. Like, no, fuck that. And the people around me deserve better than that too.
And you ever hear when people are like, oh, if you ever wake up like on the wrong side, like go lay back down, or like literally what you said. If you ever have a bad day, just stop, just realize it's just right there, and then just switch it. Don't let it throw you off.
And it sucks because once I realized that, oh, I'm just a little bitch. Like I had to really realize that. That's why I come off the way I do. That's why I'm so quick to fight. I'm so quick to fucking put somebody in their place or tell them to shut up, because I'm insecure, bro. Like I had deep seated insecurities that I was raised with within myself. My dad was, in prison for 20 years, and he was out for a year, and then he had me. He was a stay-at-home dad with me. So he was still institutionalized, and he raised me a little institutionalized. You know what I mean? And so not that, it's an excuse, it's just the reasoning for what it may be. And once you can like dig into those things, it's like I had to go like past those things on my journey to figuring out why I am the way I am, and those are the hard truths about just being a man and being somebody where it's like, okay, well, I'm on a journey to like try to like at least be able to expose my softer side, or feel more confident exposing my softer side, and knowing that I'm still me at the end of the day, and those are the things that where it's like, it's like scary, you know what I mean?
I think the one thing that I'm taking away from this that you're saying, and that I kind of said, and I think it's really big, because I don't think a lot of people like to do it. At least males, they don't like to accept it. And I've also said this on other podcasts, like I am very comfortable with just who I am.
Yeah.
Like I'll vent to a guy and I'll vent to a girl. I don't care. If it's my girl at the time, I'll vent to her. I don't care. If she decides to think less of me, that sucks for her. I don't care.
And that's the thing, bro. Figuring out that you can vent and you're not any less of a man. Your dick didn't fucking disappear.
Exactly.
You don't got a vagina. Your balls are still there. You feel me? Like that. It took me a long time to learn that.
And then same to my boys. Like they know. Like and I am like so blessed to have the group of guys that I actually have. Like they know me now. They know when my energy's off. They'll know like when something's wrong. Like it's actually kind of crazy. I think it's an amazing thing, and I really appreciate it. With that being said, awareness. Awareness is the main thing that I'm understanding. Like you've become more self-aware, and I think a lot of people lack that, or they don't want to do the self-work to understand it.
Yeah,
a lot of people do use the old gender roles of like, let's just stay quiet. Let's not talk to anyone, or not even talk to anyone. People don't want to do the in-depth work it takes to become self-aware or look in the mirror, because a lot of the times is you have to look in the mirror and just be like, yo, I'm fucked up right now. Like whatever it is, I am fucked up. I'm either drinking too much. I'm so many addictions out there that males take on that aren't healthy. Masturbation, drinking, drugs, pills, all these things.
It named all my pastimes.
It crushes people. Yeah, but once you're able to become aware and like learn how to communication is like my biggest thing. When I meet people, I'm like, yo, let's learn how to communicate. That's it. If we cannot communicate, this is not going to go anywhere. And communication comes down to awareness. You got to be able to understand like, oh, this is where I'm messed up right now, and then fix it.
And be able to step back and say my bad. That goes back to like my standard that was so high.
I don't know if you noticed this week, but like whenever I did mess up, I was like, oh, I'm gonna take that on the chin. That was on me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed it.
I think a little bit.
But it
makes you more likable, bro.
It
makes you more. People are gonna like you more when you like own up to the shit.
I was just like, it's not that I ever am like, oh, he did this. I was just, something happened either last week or something. But I was like, you know what? Honestly, if something happens from now on, and there was a way I could have mitigated or fixed it, and I didn't, that's on me.
Yeah,
that's on me.
I think I remember what you're talking about.
And I was like, it was something happened, and I was just like, I just had a quick shift.
It was a communication error where I was like in a hurry, and like I texted in the group chat something, but with like very little it didn't specify anything at all, and you went off it assuming it was something that it wasn't. And then when we finally cleared it up, you're like, oh well, you should have like told. I was like, bro, how was I supposed to know you're gonna run with it? If you have a question, ask. Like, we can clarify it on both sides. Yeah. And then I said the same thing. I was like, yeah, bro, you know what? I could have clarified it more, but you could also, like, instead of assuming something and running with it when you just said it, there was no clarity in it at all, then why'd you decide to run with what you decided you thought I was saying?
Yeah.
And that's in short what communication's about. There's a problem, it happened. How can we make it so we can avoid this in the future?
Yeah.
On both sides, because it was probably just like you said, if you could have mitigated it some way, you're just going to take it on the chin. And yeah, now that you mention it, I have noticed it.
So the question was, do you think gender roles are prevalent in the issues of men's mental health today?
Definitely.
So you say definitely. I say I don't know. I'm mixed. I think we're in a transition era of society right now where there's a movement of speaking up and trying to seek help and take away some of the norms. I think at a basis of being a male, there are some things that I believe, just my belief. I'm not saying it's a gender thing. It might also be a gender thing, but my belief is like you go on a first date, the guy pays. You go out to eat, the guy pays. This is my belief. Now, these can come down to gender roles and they can play into anxiety and depression. How can they play into anxiety? Well, shit, if I don't have enough money, it's going to be a little tough. But this is what I believe.
Or would you like let a girl pay if she wanted to pay?
Not really, no.
No?
Now, it has nothing to do with masculinity. At a certain point, then I let them pay. Once I am like, okay, you know what? I've taken you out to dinner like 3 or 4 times. Like, if you want to pay, like, go for it. Like, you can pay. Or like, I will never be like, let's go to a steakhouse. And let's say we went to the steakhouse 5
you wouldn't
times.
invite somebody out and then then not pay or leave them with the bill.
Exactly. But why I say that is like, I think we're in a place where it's like, we're just in a nice trend. We can transition right now to where it's like it's up to each person to embody and embrace what they want when it comes to gender roles. I really feel like, especially with females these days. I mean, everyone's on their hot girl shit and Miss Independent.
But it's always like it's always been like that. I mean, in my opinion, though.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean,
you said the numbers, bro. 48,000 or 42,000, whatever it was, 40-something thousand suicides last year, and 38 of them were male. Mm-hmm. That there's a reason for that. That's because the way society has conditioned us as a group of people to think, it's like it puts a lot of pressure on the men. Hey, not only do you have to protect your family, make all the money, have the biggest dick in the world, but you also, all the shit that you go through and all the stuff that you do and all that pressure that we're applying on, you can't talk about it either, or else you're a bitch. You can do all those that I just listed, but if you talk about it and try to vent and complain, it negates the rest that I just said, all the others. You know what I mean? And that's something that's obviously not true, but that's like, you know what I mean? It's a social norm that's been like ingrained into our brain since we're born. And it was a lot more prevalent, I feel like, what you're saying, later, earlier, when people didn't talk about it, like, in the old, I was about to say good old days. I don't know if they were good, but the old days, And so it's like, that's something that I just like hearing you talk when you're saying it about being gender roles. It's like the first thing that comes to my head.
Yeah.
Was those numbers that you gave me.
Yeah. I mean that is a very fair point. I don't know. I think I guess I like the progress that we're making, and like,
but either way, I like where you're playing devil's advocate though. So keep going.
And I'm definitely here for the change. Like I can't wait to hopefully help and like put that out there in the air and be like, but still make it healthy, right? Like there's by no means should there be like I'm a male and I don't want to pay for the first date or like lose, like we're not taking away what men are.
Well, there's some shit that is just going to happen because of who we are as men. If you're with a girl and say that's your quote unquote girlfriend and you're walking with her and another guy comes up and sexually assaults her in some way, slaps her on the ass, what's the first thing the woman's going to do half the time? She's not going to square up with some fucking dude.
Yeah, but
she's going to look at you. That's a gender role.
I think we need better examples.
Well, but I'm just saying
that's just such like obviously like
no
it doesn't even have to be my girl.
But that's why I made the example, because it's so obvious to let people know that obviously gender roles are still prevalent. You know what I mean? And there's going to be some things that it's just like it's laws of nature that I'm going to do. I'm bigger, I'm stronger than you. Of course, if I'm bigger and stronger, what are the things that I can do better? Protect you, because you're not as big as strong as me. Maybe women are smarter and more aware. So what am I not going to, I'm not going to try to, fucking sit with the accountant and do the financing or do the accounting on my own, because I'm not, I'm not capable of doing that,
I think I'm just big on speaking up right now. Just communicating. I think communicating this last few months has just really helped me. Um, and I think that's where it goes. So like if you're a male out there and like you literally feel like you cannot communicate, or you will feel less of a man, like slide up in the fucking DMs. I'll literally
Yeah.
get on a call with you and like
Hey, facts, me too.
like convince your mind on like how that doesn't make sense to
Or
me.
just be an ear, just like an ear that we can lend you just to talk. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And break that stigma in your head that, hey, I can't talk to anybody about the way I'm feeling, or that
Yeah,
if
for
I
real.
talk to another man about whatever it may be, I'm less of a man. Like, no, that's the single stupidest like thought process or thought in the
Yeah.
world, in my opinion. And if people are offended by that, it is what it is. But it's like, we need each other in this world. I'm a firm believer in that. Some people always try to say self-made this, self-made that. Nobody's self-made. We all
Yeah,
need
no.
people, whether it's your dad and he lets you take over the business after he's done with it, or if you met your fucking business partner on the side of the street or at some networking conference, and now you guys are, it goes all the way to the grocery store. I walk into the grocery store, I grab that loaf of bread. Somebody needed that bread. It was dough. Somebody baked that bread, sliced it, bagged it, drove it to the store. The store clerk put that on the shelf for me, and I walk by and I grab it. Oh, but I don't need nobody. Like, what? Like, no, we all need each other in this fucking life, and that's just the way it is. And so, as just like you're saying, honestly, and I also wanted to give you your flowers, that like that's pretty admirable. You know what I mean? What you were saying, that you really like, it's something that means something to you so much that you want to make a difference, to the
Yeah.
point where it's like you're willing to go out and talk to strangers that you don't even know, because if you can save a life or help somebody in
Yeah.
a way that maybe somebody didn't for you, or somebody then you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And that's something that I just wanted to give you your flowers on, because that's dope.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
The second thing, well, another question. So like you talked a little bit about like depression stuff. I guess what kind of kicked you out of that mode? What at what
In
point was
reference
like a
to what?
turning point, or like what did depression look like for you?
Depression looked like for me, it was just a pattern of masking my depression. So trying to like spike my dopamine levels in my brain. Like, so anything I could do to like drugs, going out, drinking, hanging around the guys, fighting, fucking whatever I could do to avoid just like this, sitting by myself
Yeah.
with my own thoughts, anything I could do to avoid that. So it was just a chain and series of events of masking the way I felt, so that I could hopefully like convince myself out of it. And I probably was successful for the first like 10 years of my adulthood, or five. I say adulthood when I was like, when I turned 15, at 16, I felt like an adult. But from 17 to 25, I felt like I probably did a really good job at that, because ignorance is bliss. I didn't know, I didn't want to know, and I'm good where I'm at. I never really was suicidal, so it wasn't to the point where it was like overwhelming. And so I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. But then it got to a point where I was like, I looked in the mirror, and we talked about all that shit already too. But what it looked like for me was, like I said, just kind of leaning on all the like guilty pleasures that people have over eating, food, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Food in general, just women, drugs, and kind of just the normal like nightlife carousing and fucking being just a degenerate motherfucker. Like, that's kind of what I leaned on, because that's what I was taught by. That's what I was taught by, the people that raised me. Like, I was raised by fucking addicts, drug dealers, pimps, gangsters, killers, like that. Those are all people that are part of my family, and that's who raised me, and they did the best job they could, and I salute them. I take my, I take my hat off to them, but it's like I tip my cap. But it's like, at a certain point, it got to where I was like, I need to make a change for myself, because this isn't normal. What I grew up thinking is normal is very far off the fucking spectrum and beating path of what is. And so, yeah, it's hard to say that like, what did it look like? It was pretty much just the way I like led my life, which was just trying to mask the depression with other
Yeah.
shit that made me forget about it, or be able to avoid it, or make me feel good. Like, knocking somebody's fucking head off made me feel good. Like, I'm not like I just knocked this motherfucker out, or I'm drunk, I'm kicking it with my family, or we're fucking, spending money on fucking, new clothes and cars and whatever it may be, gambling. Like, it's just anything that I could find a dopamine spike in. It's like I was an addict to being an addict,
Yeah.
like almost, and I'm just lucky that I was intelligent enough, not trying to toot my own horn, but intelligent enough to stop it. And then I had people like your sister in my corner who really loved me and helped me, like, pull me out of that
Yeah.
situation, you know? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to do it if you don't recognize it or choose to identify it.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
So just basically being a piece of shit, honestly, is what I did to try to avoid being depressed.
You got to cope with it some way.
Yeah,
and, you
no.
know, like that's.
And honestly, though, I wanted to go into a different side of it because I just, the apartment that we just moved out of.
Yeah.
So we, unbeknownst to us, that there was mold in that apartment. And like for the last maybe like year, I've been like very depressed, like down, but not knowing why, because I didn't like, my vision was blurred, fucked up, depth perception off, getting dizzy at times. I didn't know why. Skin itchy, all messed up, fatigue through the roof like I've never seen. Like, you've seen me, I started drinking coffee. Like, I've never drank coffee.
You were drinking a lot of caffeine.
I've never drank coffee, but that's why I was trying to like anything I could to like kickstart or get me out of this. And I was going to the doctors like repeatedly, and my levels were fine. They kind of check you for all the important shit, and then if it's something, there's like, oh well, take your proper vitamins, and they kick you out the door. They're not really, unless you have like a private doctor that you're paying a lot of money for, they're not doing like in-depth dives into the shit that you would think, like, wouldn't normally think about. They're trying to test you for all the important stuff. If you're not dying, okay, you're good. So I'd gone to the doctors hella times. I mean, my lung collapsed last year, and that could very much be a symptom of that. But either way, I was just super anxious, tired as fuck, wake up like a fucking zombie, bro. Like, I'm straight out of the Mummy. Like, and so that was really fucking with me. Not the fact that all those things, like, I'd more or less started to push past it, like almost thinking like, well, I know I'm not gonna quit, I'm not gonna give up, this is just my new normal. Like what am I supposed to do? And so that in and of itself made me really depressed, that I knew something was wrong with me, but I didn't know exactly what. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to turn to. And like, I was really doing my best impression of myself, like of Danny at his best. That's what I'd been doing like an impression of for like the last year and a half. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I'd really been a shell of myself on this pod, in my studio sessions, trying to talk to people at work, trying to talk to people in general, bro. It's just like, it was a fucking heady task, heavy as fuck. Like, think about it like this, like, how smart you are, like let's say this, the alphabets. Imagine not being able to fucking remember the alphabet.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty.
But you know it. It's like, what the fuck? And that's just one of the symptoms, as much as all the other stuff I talked about. So it's pretty much affecting me in every way possible. And I was just putting my head down and pushing through it and saying, fuck it. And it wasn't until this last week that we moved out and we had been out of our house for a week that, like, bro, I'm back. Like I'm not 100% yet, but I'm getting there. Like, I'm to the point where my vision cleared out. Like, I'm not feeling dizzy anymore, not having any type of, like, my mood was so low because of everything I was talking about. It's more started to level out. And like, I'm just getting back to feeling like the old DG again. And like, it's been a whole week. I haven't drank coffee once this week. Because I've never drank coffee. I've never needed it. I've never leaned on caffeine. If anything, I had too much fucking energy. So that's one thing where it's like, when you were talking about depression, there's another like reason why I was feeling depressed, because there was something wrong that I couldn't figure out. And so, not necessarily drawing it back to like, old childhood and family trauma, but things that are going on right now that were crazy. And I was like, bro, once the fog lift and, like you said, mental clarity, I was just like, bro, I like dropped down onto my knees. I could almost get teary-eyed talking about it right now, because the silent battles that I was fighting alone and just putting a good face on for other people, I couldn't explain it enough so people understand it. Like, it was a daunting task, and I'm just glad to be on the other side. So it's like,
out of that place. That's crazy.
No, it was crazy, and like, I've gone through a whole bunch of other shit, but either way, just happy to be where I'm at now, and that's something that I wanted to touch on before we moved on to the next topic, because that's has all to do with depression.
Well, yeah, let's segue over to.
I'm back.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm a big guy on mental health. So.
And if you're feeling anything, or you feel like you don't have anybody,
let us know. Find somebody.
Yeah, you don't have anybody to talk to. You can't find anybody. Reach out to us. We'd love to, just chat with you, kick it with you, and just, be a shoulder for you, or not necessarily a shoulder to cry on, but an ear and that can listen. You know what I mean? And I got 2, he's got 2, we got 4 of them. We'll count Manny too. We got 6 ears that are willing to listen to whatever you got going on, and just not necessarily even give you advice, because I don't want to insult anybody or offend anybody thinking that I can put myself in their shoes or know what they're going through, but just be there to talk and to listen and to let you vent.
So yeah, we've been busy. I don't know. I feel like I'm losing my train of thought.
Nah, but that falls into mental health too, about like your job and your business and how busy you've been and everything you've been putting together with
Yeah.
the dating app QQ. And so I don't know if you want to speak on that a little bit.
Yeah. So
What has that been like for you, or what? Okay, let me break it down into a question. What is the one single right now, just for the first question, what's the one single most challenging thing when it's been coming to, when in reference to everything with the dating app QQ? Well, what's the one most challenging thing that you feel like when you look back is like, damn, that was the thing I had the most trouble with or most difficulty?
not understanding that everything is going to work out. And I say that because I'm not a tech guy. I don't work with Meta. I don't work with websites. I don't work with anything that has to do with tech. So when, you get problems, IT problems, when a Facebook isn't linked properly, or when you're setting accounts up and you're trying to mesh everything and it doesn't work, I don't have anyone to call. No one on my team really is like, oh, I'll dial that in right now.
We got to start paying them
so
first.
I'm just kidding. So it's me doing it. It's working it out, and it's like it causes so much stress. It's like
You have been very stressed.
It's crazy because it's like,
But you've been dealing with it well, I may add. So
because it's like, okay, I'm reaching out to Meta, and then Meta, dude, all these freaking platforms, Squarespace, Meta, TikTok, Instagram falls into Meta, Apple and Google. They don't have a phone number. You have a problem with your bank, guess what? And you're talking to someone and it's fixed. You get it done. Over there, it's email and chat lines. I'm like, bro, I need you to see what I'm seeing.
a lot of it's automated.
I need to talk to you and tell you what is going on. And that's where it's like, I don't have time to sit here and when I'm flustered, my words are not words. It's like just mumble jumble. And I'm just like, and the thing is, I got to type there meticulously and be like,
Takes even more patience.
It's so bad, and I am not that kind of guy. Like,
I'm not.
I
either.
literally wish I could just like have a scribe while I'm just running around my room, pacing back and forth.
Stenographer.
Yeah, and just tell them I need that shit fucking fixed. So that has probably been the challenging is understanding that everything is going to work out. That's supposed to work. That is supposed to work out. And I know that's kind of cheesy, but it's true because you get caught up in the moment. And it affects everything. And, there's many challenges that have happened, but like the thing, it's not about the challenge. It's how the challenge affects me and me thinking that it's the end of the day. It's not the end of the day. Like it's going to get fixed.
End of the world.
So end of the world. Or that day, who knows? But, so
like basically like all the little logistical things.
Yeah. So that one has been, what was the exact question?
What have you had the most difficulty with looking back on the creation of the app?
That. And then,
give me your top three. I know there's a lot more than one. Let's say top three.
I mean, that has been the biggest one. Putting this launch party together has been the biggest one. I mean, look,
you're also working with family. Has that been tough, or has that been something that you more or less
Sierra's goated.
Yeah.
It's not tough at all. I mean, it could get annoying. It's just not tough.
I feel like you more or less like would rather work with her than somebody that you have to put a good face on for, or not, or like maybe bite your words when you would just, let them have it. Not necessarily let them have it, but tell it like it is or exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
So, like if you could talk to Alfredo of how long have you been working on the app for?
Almost a year.
So if you could talk to Alfredo as yourself now, but you're talking to yourself a year ago before you like embarked on this journey, what would be some of the tips and advice, or maybe some things that you would enlighten yourself on, your older self, or I guess it's technically your younger self.
Yeah.
But
I would say relax. The first thing is relax. The second thing is be patient. So it goes into relaxing. And by that, I mean, understand what you're getting into. The thing about this is I just created a dating app. I don't do tech, right? If someone said he made a restaurant, it would sound very normal. So the first thing is understand the market, have patience. Don't just jump to like.
So hold on, relax, have patience, or relax and patience, you're merging them together?
We could say have patience.
Have patience.
Market comprehension.
Knowing your market. And speak to that a little bit. Knowing your market, what do you mean exactly?
So knowing, so it's not just the market, because I did research. It's not just like the dating app market. It's more of all this IT stuff, comprehension of the way Meta works, of what accounts I'll need, of the right developers. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's easy to say I want to create a dating app,
So
get
it's
on a
like
phone call.
so you're more talking about like the landscape of the professional genre that you were like diving into.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with figuring out the dating app market, right? It's not easy, but like, you know, you could
Your
comprehend it
professional landscape, all the
easier.
different people that you have to talk to,
Exactly.
go in
The
between,
people, exactly.
and what's
Exactly.
good versus what's not good. Like those are
Exactly.
things that you might not have an understanding for.
So
in the
yeah, I mean,
beginning.
the main thing I would tell myself: be patient. Be patient and understand what you're doing. Understand what you're getting, and be a boss.
Yeah.
It's really be a boss and like
Be decisive.
put my foot down.
Yep.
And be like, no, this is what's happening. Be more elaborate on things. So if I'm bringing you on to do something, I'm bringing you on to do this, this, and this, and make sure you know how to do it.
Yeah.
And then this is the hours I need. Whether I'm paying you,
So more clarity.
whether I'm giving you equity, whatever I'm doing, however I'm compensating you, doesn't matter. But this is what needs to be done this time for this period. This is where we stand, and that's it. So, patience, be a boss.
Okay, now I'm gonna put a twist on the question a little bit. You being a stubborn, hard-headed person and having to like, you're more of a literal kind of guy, and you're
Yeah.
more like, I could show you better than I can tell you. Like you want to see, like somebody could sit here and explain something to you for a whole day, but unless you've seen it and you can see it yourself, those words are pretty much meaningless.
Yeah.
Would you believe yourself? So the fact that is this is a message that you would tell your old self that before you started the app. Would that version of yourself believe you?
Probably not.
Because because you hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Probably not. I think that I think time, things I must experience is the way that this life goes. I believe that everyone has a story. I'm very big on that. And you know, might be a bold statement, but sometimes I look at myself and this brings self-confidence. Yo, getting shot in the chest gave me self-confidence, believe it or not.
I don't
Right?
see why.
So
maybe
hold on.
illusions of grandeur too.
So everyone has a story. Me, you, and Manny all have a story. I don't ever do anything to be like, if I jump off the cliff today and I survive, this is going to be epic. It'll be great. No, I just live my life and I just keep doing things, and then shit just happens to me, and then I persevere and I keep going. Everyone in this world is going to have a story, and you just got to live life and keep going. And you're going to have to experience things, and there's going to be times where you don't listen. There's going to be times where you listen, and just keep going. You just got to understand that you're the main character of your story.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to be a good person and just keep going.
All those things where you're saying bad deals you made and all that other shit, it's like, it's only a loss if you didn't learn anything from it.
Exactly.
You know, you learn, it's not a loss, it's a lesson because you learn things from it. And so all those things that you did was necessary to get to where you were now.
Exactly.
So that's like the double-edged sword or the catch-22 when you're asking somebody, oh, well, if you could go back and tell your older self, technically younger self, I'm like a fucking, like when you go back in time, those movies, I love those type of movies. So it's like, I get, enthralled in the science of it all. So technically we're saying your older self, technically your younger self, that like, you could tell yourself that, but you'd be a completely different version of yourself because you need to go through all those things to get to where you are now.
So as much as like the things I would change, the things that I'm so glad I didn't change is like, I just did it. I didn't look back. Maybe we'll tell the story with Sierra at the event, but like, bro, I literally thought about it, did some research, made one phone call, made two, one to a buddy, one to a developer. I just did it. Like a lot of people in this, I feel like just they're scared to put themselves out there. They're scared of failure. All three of us are creatives in our own way. We're putting ourselves out there, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
And failure is inevitable, and in some way, shape, or form. So the one thing I could say and that I'm proud of is, at the end of the day, if this goes to shit, fine. I'm 25. I don't care. I care, but it's like, what am I gonna do? What am I
even if you're
cry about it?
45? Who gives a shit?
Exactly.
You're doing what you want to do.
Exactly.
Which most people live their whole life and never attain. Being able to just do what they want.
Exactly. So I'm very blessed and grateful, and that's what I got for today, guys. That's what we got on this pod. I mean, just my biggest things where I'm at right now in life are just like, focus on communication. If you want to try something, just try it. It does not matter. Just try it. Just work on yourself. Just look in the mirror and be like, yo, like, what's good? Like, how can I change? And
communication.
And communication. I cannot stress that. If you're in a relationship, I cannot stress communication. If you
In
are,
any type of relationship,
yeah,
intimate, business,
intimate,
personal, whatever,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. Communication is going to go a long way. It'll never hurt you. You can be over communicative, but at the same time, it's like I'd rather be over communicative than somebody that just, sat there and didn't communicate at all or didn't
yeah,
at least try. At least
exactly.
try. If you don't have the people in your corner that are happy with that, because that's all you can really ask of somebody is to try. They're making the effort. That's my thing. I give anybody the benefit of the doubt that's around me or in my circle that makes the effort to try.
Exactly.
And you're not a perfect person. Nobody's a perfect human being, but as long as you let me know, hey, you know what, I fucked up and I'm sorry, but I don't even care about your
Yeah.
fuck up. I'm more happy that, hey, I got somebody on the team that's like a team player or is like-minded like me, that's like trying to actually like push towards something positive, even if it's at their detriment pride-wise,
Yeah.
by saying, hey, raising your hand, it was my fault.
Yeah.
And that's where I think me and you have started to communicate a lot better, because in the beginning, you weren't necessarily as business-minded as you are now. I have been, because I've been running my own business and businesses for a while. But either way, when you would bring your ideas to me, to whoever, and I would start to, you would think I'm shooting them down, but really what I'm doing is I'm acting as a devil's advocate, because in business, that's what you have to do. Okay, this is what I want to do. Now I need to think about all the ways that wouldn't work and try to avoid that. Like that's really the principle of business, and
Yeah.
when people that are business minded, that's exactly what they do. When you give them a business proposal, the first thing they think about or talk about are the negatives, because if I'm going to take this on in any way or become a part of it, I need to know all of it, not just the positive stuff, but how this could potentially impact me in a negative way. And you go from there. Sometimes, hey, it's too much and I'm not willing to sacrifice that, and sometimes it's, hey, I like this idea so much, I don't give a fuck, I'm going to be all in regardless. And so those are things that I feel like when we say we've been communicating better, those are reasons why, because you more understand now. And if it's not in a conscious way, it's subconsciously that, oh, DG got my best interest at heart. That's why when I bring him an idea, he's talking about all the bad shit, not because I'm trying to shoot it down, which a normal Joe Blow, average guy off the street would be like, God damn, this fucking hater, bro. Every time I bring him a fucking idea, it's like, oh, no, you can't do it this, you can't do it this. When I'm just like, nah, that's what the creation of an idea is, thinking about it, and then, okay, what are all the things I need to do around it
Yeah.
to build it up, So that was just kind of a little preamble, but a realization that I had just in the moment. So I feel like you've come a long way in a fucking year and a half, business wise, but not only that, personally, and just like you were speaking to your emotion and just being able to communicate and talk about it in like an open setting like this is something that's, I look up to you for real.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So
All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one.
we're gonna bring our tissues for the next one. God damn, you got me tearing up a couple different times during the shit, low key.
Yeah.
We're talking about
We'll
it.
have them back to back, and stay tuned. We're gonna drop something for QQ.
Yep. Thanks for listening.